Hello everyone, this is Tanya from Professor Tanya Speaks, and today we're going to be talking about the inspirational speech. Now, most times when we think of speeches or oral presentations, we think about the informative speech or the persuasive speech or the entertaining speech. But there's also a fourth type of speech, which is the inspirational speech. Sometimes people call it the motivational one, but you can either be motivating or inspiring, and it basically falls under that category. Now, in order for you to understand what makes the inspirational speech distinct, let me first recap what the other three types of speeches do, so that you will see the difference. So for the informative speech, normally you are knowledgeable of the topic and you want to deepen the understanding of the topic. So let's say you wanted to talk about the value of education, or you wanted to talk about why we dream. Let's say you do an informative speech on dreams and what dreams mean. Or maybe you want to talk about how to buy a car or how to build a library, but you are trying to inform about a topic and you're using your knowledge to help to educate. That's the informative speech. Now, the other type of speech is a persuasive speech, and the goal of that is to convince your audience about something or to change their values or their attitudes. For example, in this speech where I spoke about the sustainability of friendship, I wanted you to see the necessity of valuing friendships, and I wanted you to change your minds about canceling friendships. Or as my other student did in this video, where she spoke about the sustainability of friendliness to strangers, where she wanted people to have a different attitude. Or let's say weed wasn't yet legalized and you wanted to do something to show people why we should think about weed differently. That would be a persuasive speech where the aim is to persuade your listeners. Now, apart from the informative speech and the persuasive speech, there's also the entertaining speech or the speech to entertain. And that one is not as popular because that tends to be the speech that's done by comedians, people who are trying to make you laugh. So we have the informative, we have the persuasive, we have the one that entertains, and then we have the one that inspires. And when you think of the inspirational speech, think in terms of the type of speech that the US president-elect normally gives. One where the aim is to give hope, to be reflective, to help people to dream, to inspire. Or Martin Luther King, I have a dream. So it's that kind of speech where the goal is to inspire. And we recognize them because they're usually said with great inflection. There is a lot of vocal variety. There are a lot of literary devices. There's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of rhythm. There are pauses. We know it's the inspirational speech because it inspires us, but the language also communicates to us. There's also great intensity and, above all, passion. That's why sometimes it's called the passion speech. For my class, I say the passion speech or the TED Talk, because the TED Talks are very much inspirational speeches. So if you were to just quickly look at any number of TED Talks, you would realize that they're not just trying to give you information, but they're trying to inspire you. And those are the inspirational speeches. Now, the inspirational speech is not the informative speech. You're not going to be talking about online dating or how to dress for success. You're not just informing and giving information. You are trying to inspire. to inspire courage, to inspire change, to inspire people to see life differently, as I did in this video where I spoke about failure. No, I wasn't telling you the benefits of failure, but I was talking to you about seeing failure differently, seeing it as something that can help us. I was telling you that when you see failure differently, you realize that it may be pointing you in a different direction, or it may be telling you what you should be doing or what you should not be doing. And I was saying that when you embrace failure, you will find opportunities and your life will unfold. So my goal was to inspire you to see failure differently. I wasn't just listening to you the benefits of failure. Now, when you decide to do your inspirational speech, you want to make sure that it's an idea that you have based on your life experience. So let's say you had never failed, then you wouldn't talk about failure. So you're talking about something that life has taught you. As a result of these things, you now know how to do something, or you now have had an experience, and you are talking from your experience. And because you're talking from your experience, you will have stories. And that's one thing that differentiates the inspirational speech. There must be stories. Must. You see, I told you the story of me walking from the interview and hearing my English teacher. I told you the story about teaching and meeting a woman whose father was from Vancouver. I told you stories, multiple stories. Sometimes it's one long, extended story where in the middle of it you weave in information, or you weave in the life lessons, and you talk about the life lessons. So it can be a long, extended story, or it can be a series of stories. But it is not you just informing us about a topic which we more than likely know already. But here's the thing. You must believe what you're talking about. If you want your audience to believe, you have to first believe it. It has to be a lived experience. Now you can, if you wish, use a bit of research to complement what you are saying. That's always okay. But it is based on your experience. So let's say in your life you found out that friendships are not necessary. That's your idea. And you want to inspire us to not look for friends, but to learn to befriend ourselves. That could have been your idea. Now, your life experience has to show us why you're saying that. And that should make us say, yeah, I see that. I see that. So you have to be credible, where you have to be knowledgeable. You also have to be passionate, and you have to care about what you're talking about. It also has to be a universal message, because it can't just be something that works for you. Because if you listen to TED Talks, they are applicable to the average person. So what you're saying has to be, yes, important to you, but it has to be something of interest to your audience. And even though your audience may be a few select, maybe 20 people, if it's your class, it should be a universal message for the average person. And if you're not sure about what universality means, I have a video which will talk a little bit more about universality. Very important. So if you're still trying to figure out what to talk about, here are some questions that you can ask yourself. 1, what has life taught me? That's an idea worth spreading. 2, what do I know now that I never knew before? 3, what realization did I get recently, or have I had as a result of my life and my life experiences? 4, what do I know that will help an audience that they may not be aware of, but I have now learned this thing based on my experience? And 5, what stories do I have that will illustrate my big idea? So what you're going to be doing is communicating an idea. And just like a regular speech, it's going to be structured similarly. It's just that it may be a lot more stories, and your body points may be more stories than usual. But it's the same structure. It has to be structured. You can't just talk. It always has to be structured. And then when you're finished, make sure that you use all the linguistic devices, all the repetition. Make sure that there is rhythm. You want to make sure that you use as many metaphors. We want to hear some analogies, personification. Throw everything in, especially repetition and especially pauses. And you saw what I just did. We want to see your body language showing us what you really mean. We want your body language to communicate. And we have to see passion. If there is no passion, then how are you going to inspire us? Okay? So when you do your speech, make sure your hands are free. Make sure that you're talking. Make sure that we can see when you point, when you do this, when you say and how, and when we want to see the eyes going, we want to hear the voice going, and we want to hear you. So we want to hear all that you have to say. We want to see all the drama, and we want to be pulled in. You cannot give this speech just doing this. That will not work. So I hope this helps, and I hope that as you plan your inspirational speeches, I hope that you will first be inspired by what you want to talk about, and I hope that we also will be inspired and we will feel your passion. So until the next time I see you in the next video, thank you for watching. This is Professor Tanya from Professor Tanya Speaks, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.